Outside the Lines has learned that National League most valuable player Ryan Braun, who led the Brewers to their first division title in nearly 3 decades, tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs and faces a 50-game suspension if the initial finding is upheld. When contacted, a representative for Braun confirmed the positive test, but said Braun believes that extenuating circumstances will exonerate Braun. Major League Baseball has not made an announcement because Braun is disputing the result through arbitration, sources tell investigative reporters T.J. Quinn and Mark Fenner-Iwata. Fenner-Iwata also tells us 28-year-old Braun, according to a source, learned he had tested positive about a month before he was named National League MVP. A second source confirmed the positive test.
It's 2-1 to Braun, swinging a high fly ball driven deep to left center. This is way back, way gone. Home run, Ryan Braun.
On the day Ryan Braun was named the 2011 National League Most Valuable Player, the Brewers outfielder talked about what the award meant to him, even while already aware that he was facing a drug suspension.
It's beyond a dream come true. You know, it's really difficult to put into words how much this means to me, how proud I am to have an opportunity to win this award.
Braun had to provide a urine sample for testing during the playoffs, and according to a source with knowledge of his case, was notified sometime in late October that he had tested positive. Outside the Lines has also learned that the positive result was triggered by excessive levels of testosterone in Braun's system. A subsequent, more comprehensive test revealed that testosterone was synthetic. In other words, it wasn't produced by his body. Braun had never been linked to steroids previously. In fact, in 2009, Commissioner Bud Selig told the Arizona Republic, "Our minor league testing program is in its 9th year, and that means all the great young players in baseball, from Ryan Howard to Ryan Braun, have all been tested for 9 years. There's a system in place, and it's working. We know we have the toughest testing program in Major League sports." Earlier that spring, after Alex Rodriguez was exposed for using steroids, Braun spoke to MLB.com about the mistakes made by the superstar. Braun said he met Rodriguez in 2001 during a recruiting trip to the University of Miami. Braun told the website, "The best thing he can do is come out, admit to everything, and be completely honest. The situation will die a lot faster if he tells the whole truth." When asked if he himself had ever been tempted to use performance-enhancing drugs, he joked, "I would never do it because if I took steroids, I would hit 60 or 70 home runs." In April, Braun signed a 5-year contract extension worth $105 million, and then went out and had his best season ever, carrying the Brewers to their first division title in nearly 3 decades. He led the league in slugging percentage at .597, with a .332 batting average, 33 home runs, 111 runs batted in, and 33 stolen bases. Now, though, he's looking at a 50-game suspension to open the 2012 season. And, of course, all sorts of questions about what role steroids have played in his success.
Since being informed of the results, Braun has been disputing his case. Braun, in a statement to USA Today, simply said, quote, "It's BS. The outfielder has told those around him that he did not knowingly take any banned substances and hoped to prove that through the arbitration process." One person with knowledge of the case has told Outside the Lines, "No Major League player, should be noted, has ever successfully appealed a positive test." Now, a spokesman for Ryan Braun released this statement saying, quote, "There are highly unusual circumstances surrounding this case which will support Ryan's complete innocence and demonstrate there was absolutely no intentional violation of the program. While Ryan has impeccable character and no previous history, unfortunately, because of the process, we have to maintain confidentiality and are not able to discuss it any further. But we are confident he will ultimately be exonerated." Saturday night, T.J. Quinn and Mark Fenner-Iwata were guests with Steve Levy on Sportscenter.
How does Braun and his people go about fighting this now?
Steve, it's an uphill battle. As you said at the end of the piece, no one has ever successfully appealed one of these tests. What his representatives told me tonight was that they believe extenuating circumstances will show that he didn't just not know what he was doing, he couldn't possibly have known he was taking something that was banned. What they said was that when Braun was informed sometime fairly well after the actual test that he had actually tested positive, that he asked to be tested again. So they took another specimen, sent it to a lab. They say that it showed that he was not positive, which in itself means nothing. You could have tested someone hours later and a drug wouldn't appear there. But they say that there are significant differences between the two tests that would show there has to be a flaw with the first one. But that's going to be up to an arbitrator to decide.
Mark, to you, of what significance is it that Braun's test results showed synthetic testosterone?
Well, I think that sort of enhances the uphill battle that he's got to face, Steve. I mean, you know, the way that works is we have natural testosterone in our body that's produced, and initially Braun tests positive for elevated levels, sort of a sign that there's something going on there, and that triggers a positive test. In this case, baseball followed up with a more comprehensive test that's designed to determine whether that testosterone actually was from within the body or out. They did that test, it showed it was synthetic, and what that means essentially is it was introduced from outside the body. So now he's got that argument to sort of deal with how do you counter the suggestion that you actually had testosterone in your body that wasn't there naturally.
And coming up later in the show, Buster Olney will tell us what this positive test means for Ryan Braun and what this latest black eye means to the game.